first place?
How did I get into the industry? Well, I was one of these people who was a failed vet, so I went to look at the next best subject I could do at university, and I found a subject called Applied Zoology, and it sounded interesting, so I went to do that. And as part of the Applied Zoology degree, we had to do entomology, so we had to do an insect collection and identify the insects, and I just absolutely loved that. So, I spent the whole summer collecting insects and the next term identifying what they were. So that gave me an interest in insects, but also we covered various other pests and diseases, mostly agricultural ones, but it gave me an interest for pests in that respect. And then I wanted to do a bit more at university because I just love university life, so I found a master's in entomology, or insect control research methods as it was called. So did some more research into insects. Again, that wasn't actually public health pests, it was pests in orchards I was looking at particularly, but again it was pest control of one form or another. So that's how I originally got into pests. But in terms of public health pest control, my first job in that was doing research for the Wellcome Environmental Trust, where I was breeding cockroaches and houseflies and store product insects and mosquitoes. And the Home Office had just brought out a new requirement whereby we couldn't feed the mosquitoes with guinea pigs anymore for more than one feed. That was called an experiment, and that meant we were getting through a lot of guinea pigs, because prior to that we were multiple feeding them. You didn't seem to harm the guinea pigs. You'd put them, anaesthetise them, put them on the top of the cage, all the mosquitoes in the cage would feed, and then you could use them again a couple of days later. But when the Home Office brought out that requirement, it meant I either got through a lot of guinea pigs or we invented some sort of artificial diet. So that was my project there, was to invent an artificial diet for mosquitoes, which I did, and the fecundity and fertility of the mosquitoes remained good over several generations. So that was my first sort of foray into public health pests, and then I got a job in the pest control industry after that. So for a while with what was National Pest Control, before moving into ADAS and sort of consultancy on pest control, and working primarily with the food industry, actually, in the pest control industry.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yes, there is. It's got something for everybody. There's lots of different pests to specialise in. So some people will love working with bed bugs. Other people will be totally put off by them. Some people like working with birds. Others don't. Some people like doing DIY type things, so they're very good at the proofing, whether it be for birds or rodents. So there's lots of different avenues you can go down within the industry. So it's not a case of needing to work on one particular thing. Because we don't promote ourselves well enough, it's sort of seen as still seen as a rat man, where you're grovelling down in drains and underneath floors and things, and not particularly nice. But if we can portray it better as a profession, where we're sort of faced with challenges, we have to solve problems, and that doesn't necessarily involve grovelling around in drains or getting dirty. We can there are different pests we can specialise with, where it's more of a creative thing rather than just grovelling around in the dirt and putting controls down. It does involve sort of a whole strategy, a bit of planning now with what we call integrated pest management, where we're looking to prevent pests more than we are just go along and put poison down and control them. Well, I think it is a career, and there are lots of different paths you can go down. So there's a career structure whereby you can start off doing a general insect control, a general rodent control qualification, a basic qualification, and you can start doing some work right from the very bottom, but you can work your way up and become more proficient and deal with more pest types, and you have more responsibilities as you go through advanced technicians and field biologists. You can specialise in different parts of the industry, so in the food sector or in the domestic sector. There's just lots of different avenues and lots of different specialisms, and you'll find a niche that will work for you. Every day is different. It's not a case of doing the same thing day in, day out. I remember one of my very first jobs that I managed to get straight out of university was working on a mushroom farm. And whilst they had pests there, they had cereid flies and phorid flies in the compost and things. Every week it was the same thing. You fill a growing room, you empty a growing room, you make your compost, you throw your compost away. Just a cycle, and every week was the same. Pest control is not like that at all. Every day is different, every job is different. So, you're never going to get bored. Absolutely, yeah. So it is. There are so many things that are useful to know doing pest control. You'll never know everything, but there is support there. There's different trade associations, lots of more experienced people who might have come across the problem before, and you can phone them up and get information. So you're not on your own. There's a big support body out there for you.